When Jesus stood before the crowds, gazing into their eyes with that quiet authority and declared, "I am the bread of life." Or when he walked up to the tomb of his friend Lazarus and proclaimed with absolute certainty, "I am the resurrection and the life." Something profoundly mysterious was unfolding beneath the surface of those words. For generations we have listened to these statements and immediately concluded that Jesus was announcing his exclusive divinity. We heard him saying, "I alone am God in human form. I alone can claim this. You are mere mortals separated by an infinite gulf from the power I possess." We built entire theologies around his uniqueness, placing him high above us on a throne we could admire but never approach. But pause for a moment and consider this. What if that understanding, as comforting and familiar as it may be, has actually prevented us from receiving the greatest gift Jesus ever offered humanity? What if those words, "I am," were never intended to push us away, to remind us of our smallness, but were instead an open invitation, a living demonstration of the truth about every single one of us? What if Jesus was not elevating himself above humanity, but revealing the hidden potential within humanity itself? Stay with me here, because I am about to share something that completely rewired everything I thought I knew about prayer, healing, miracles, and the very nature of spiritual power. This is not just another sermon about how amazing Jesus was. This is about the secret mechanism he used every single time he performed the impossible, and how that exact same mechanism is alive and active in you right now, waiting to be awakened. Think back over your own life for a second. Have you ever found yourself on your knees crying out to God in desperation? Maybe it was for physical healing from a condition that just would not let go. Maybe it was for financial provision when the bills kept piling up and the money never seemed to stretch far enough. Maybe it was for restoration in a marriage or family relationship that felt irreparably broken. You prayed with everything you had. You quoted scriptures. You attended every service. You fasted. You gave. You served. You followed every spiritual practice you were taught with complete sincerity. And yet, month after month, sometimes year after year, the breakthrough you longed for remained elusive. The pain persisted. The lack continued. The conflict dragged on. And in the quiet moments, a question began to form in your heart. Is there something I am missing? Is there a key I have not yet discovered about how divine power really works? If you have ever felt that way, you are in exactly the right place. Today, you are not broken. You are not unworthy. You have simply been operating from a model of prayer and spirituality that unintentionally creates the very separation it seeks to overcome. Before we dive deeper, if something inside you is already stirring, if you sense that this message is landing in a place that has been waiting for it, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button right now. It lets me know you are truly here with me, and it helps this video reach others who are searching for the same answers. And if you want to keep walking this path together, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I share these deeper revelations regularly, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. Here is the revelation that changed everything for me. When Jesus spoke the words, "I am," he was not making a theological claim about his physical body walking the roads of ancient Israel. He was not referring to his personality, his emotions, his personal history, or even his role as a teacher and healer. He was speaking from the deepest level of consciousness available to any human being, the level where there is absolutely no separation between the individual and the divine. He was declaring that the great I Am, the eternal, unchanging presence of God itself, was his true and only identity. Not that he had God with him, not that he was connected to God, not that he was a special conduit for God, but that God was being him fully, completely, without division. And the staggering implication he was modeling for us how to live from that same consciousness. Look closely at how we have been taught to pray. When trouble comes, a frightening diagnosis, mounting debt, betrayal in a relationship, what do? We bow our heads, close our eyes, and begin pleading with a power we believe is outside of us, far away, somewhere beyond the sky. We beg, we bargain. We try to convince God to intervene, to reach down from his distant throne and fix what is broken in our lives. This is the pattern handed down through centuries of religious tradition. But here is the hidden flaw that blocks everything we are asking for. Every plea from that place reinforces separation. Every word of begging declares, "I am here, limited, lacking, powerless. You are there, infinite, abundant, powerful. Please cross this vast distance and help me." The very act of supplication from separation confirms the consciousness of lack, and lack is the only thing that can produce more lack. Jesus never operated from that place. Never once did he pray as if asking permission from a higher authority. He spoke as the authority itself. "I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the door. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life." He did not say, I hope God will provide bread, or I am asking God to give light. He declared the eternal truth of his being, and reality obeyed. Now here is where the entire picture flips upside down for you personally. Every single day, dozens of times a day, you are using the exact same creative instrument Jesus used. You wake up and say, I am so tired. You check your messages and think, I am overwhelmed. You look at your bank balance and declare, I am broke. You feel a pain in your body and affirm, I am sick. You face criticism and believe, I am not good enough. You think these are harmless observations, innocent descriptions of your temporary state, but they are not. Every time you attach any condition to the words I am, you are making a declaration of identity. You are taking the infinite, eternal I am, that is your true nature, and binding it to fleeting appearances. You are using the same power that calmed storms and raised the dead, but you are directing it toward limitation instead of truth. The moment you become aware of this and begin to refuse limitation as your identity, everything starts to shift. This is not mere positive thinking. This is not pretending problems do not exist. This is the profound recognition of the difference between temporary appearances and eternal reality. The symptoms in the body are real on one level. The numbers in the bank account are real on one level. The emotional pain is real on one level. But none of those things are happening to the true you. They are happening because a mistaken identity has been accepted, a false sense of self has been believed. One of the most powerful demonstrators of this truth in modern history was Smith Wigglesworth, a simple plumber from England who became known for extraordinary miracles, healings that baffled doctors, even documented cases of the dead being raised. What was his secret? One day everything changed when he realized that the same I am that expressed as Jesus was expressing as him. From that moment he no longer saw himself as a separate person asking God for power. He recognized that the presence of God was his actual identity. He began to speak and act from that place, and the results were undeniable. Let me tell you about one woman whose story illustrates this perfectly. She had suffered from severe chronic pain for over 8 years. Every medical test came back inconclusive. Every treatment failed. She had prayed countless prayers, had hands laid on her by many ministers, but nothing brought lasting relief. Her entire life revolved around managing the pain. She stopped planning for the future because the pain had become who she was. When she finally encountered Smith Wigglesworth, she expected a dramatic healing service. Instead, he looked at her calmly and asked a single question that pierced straight to the heart. Who is the I that says I am in pain? She was confused at first. Of course she was in pain, she had lived with it for years. But he gently pressed further. Can God be in pain? Can the infinite spirit that created the universe suffer? He invited her to sit quietly and contemplate those questions. For almost half an hour she sat in silence as something profound began to awaken within her. She saw clearly for the first time that she had been identifying her true self, the eternal I am, with a body experiencing sensations. The pain did not belong to the infinite presence that she actually was. It belonged only to a mistaken belief about who she was. Within a few weeks, the intensity of the pain began to decrease. Within 3 months, it had vanished completely. Not through struggle, not through another treatment, but through the simple recognition of truth. This same principle applies to every area of life. When financial pressure comes, the automatic response is, I am lacking, I need more money. But the I am cannot lack. Infinite presence cannot be broke. Your job is not your source. Your business is not your source. Your investments are not your source. They are channels. The source is the I am that you are infinite supply expressing itself without limit. When you begin to live from that awareness, you still show up, you still work wisely, you still make plans, but you no longer live in constant fear of channels closing. One door may close, but the ocean of supply opens 10 more you never saw coming. In moments of intense crisis, when panic rises and everything feels urgent, Wigglesworth taught a practice so simple yet so transformative he called it the pause. The instant fear or overwhelm hits, stop everything. Do not react. Do not rush into frantic human effort. Do not spiral into worst-case thinking. Simply pause, breathe, and ask yourself one question. What is eternally true about the I am that I am right now in this moment? The answer is unchanging. I am whole. I am complete. I am divinely supplied. I am safe. I am untouched by appearances. That pause breaks the spell of false identity and allows the truth to flood in. Peace returns. Clarity emerges. Solutions appear that human thinking alone could never produce. Over time, as this recognition deepens, it stops being a practice you apply in difficult moments and becomes your natural state of being. You no longer wake up as a limited person facing another hard day. You wake up as infinite consciousness expressing through this particular form. You move through life, not trying to become more spiritual, but knowing that spirit is what is living, loving, working, resting as you. Like a wave that suddenly remembers it is the ocean, you experience every rise and fall without ever losing the awareness of your boundless nature. Every challenge you face today, every lingering issue, every fear about tomorrow exists only within the framework of mistaken identity. The instant you remember who you really are, the framework begins to dissolve. Healing is no longer something you chase. It is the natural state you recognize. Abundance is no longer something you pursue. It is the reality you reveal. Peace is no longer something you hope for. It is the ground you stand on. If your heart is resonating with this right now, if you feel a quiet yes rising within you, drop a comment below and simply write, "I am ready to live from this truth." I read every single comment, and knowing you are here walking this path with me means more than you know. If this message has spoken to you deeply, please like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe if you have not already. Your engagement helps carry this message further. In the next video, we will go even deeper with practical daily exercises to anchor this consciousness so firmly that it becomes effortless. Click the video showing on screen now to continue the journey. Thank you for staying until the end. You did not arrive here by accident. The power you have been seeking has always been the I am that you are, and it is ready to express fully through your life starting today.